The amazing contributions of the Latin American community have impacted the landscape of Cleveland since the late 19th century. Our culture, music, food, dance, colors, language, and all of the other beautiful contributions have made Cleveland a more international, multilingual, and vibrant city. Unfortunately, the significant contributions of Latin Americans in Cleveland have largely been ignored. Our Latin American history has not been recorded, documented, or archived in any consistent manner in Cleveland or in the United States of America. Thus, LAHSO was created to capture those experiences of our families so that they are never forgotten and are finally included in our history books.
Let me just give you a little background about how we migrated here. And I'm speaking about the Puerto Ricanos, how we came in through the steel mills. We migrated through the southeast side. We were on Miles. We had a pink house on 93rd off Miles because, of course, houses in Puerto Rico are bright pink, yellow, etc. If you look at the migration, there was a lower east side migration and there was a upper east side migration of Puerto Ricanos. And we migrated into the inner core of Cleveland and also to the west side. And now we're everywhere. Why? Because Latinos is the only growing population in the nation, in Ohio, in the county, and in the city.
I came here in 1964, but the Mexican community has been here way back. It goes further back into the 30s, probably even earlier. But it was also during a time where speaking was considered impolite. So for them, it was kind of hard to be sociable and socializing out in the public because of their language barrier. So they decided to basically get together in their own homes. From there, they started growing, organized themselves into what is now known as the Azteca Club. And it was the first Mexican-American social club here in Northeast Ohio. Still in existence, the organization itself.
There's stories being told, but they're not coming from us. LAHSO seeks to capture our story because the contributions are significant. LAHSO is going to capture the Mexican and the Puerto Rican migration of the 1900s to the 1960s, 1970s. And then we're going to capture all of us because we're no longer just Mexican Puerto Ricans here in the city of Cleveland. We are a collective of 21 Latin American countries.
Many of us were being called to do this, but we were just kind of like in our own silos. And I think LAHSO brought these people together so that we could begin to synergize. It's very important for us to begin to start a healing process with the Latino community. We have been pretty ignored. We've been pretty disenfranchised. We still are.
Many of our fathers, great-grandfathers that came here to build their life here in Cleveland, they told stories, but these stories were kept within the family. And it's so important to get this information out, that we were here, we were also part of this community, that we also provided resources and support to others. And it's so important to be able to document that history and have the people in the community, the Hispanic community, be proud of what their grandparents did, what their great-grandparents did.
LAHSO of Cleveland began assembling what we call the stakeholder group, which are representatives from the community, which have diverse Latino backgrounds, as well as come from diverse places like the Diocese of Cleveland, churches, organizations. We tried to build an eclectic team that was representative of the community. In January of 2024, the stakeholder team met for the first time and planned then to obtain some grant money to do strategic planning, community planning, as well as to conduct an oral history project. Neighborhood Connections loved our grant and funded us, and thus we began the process of planning for these two components. Part of the grant we got funded was to do oral history, and we are really excited about this one because oral history is going to give us that meat on the bone that we don't have about Latinos. So we are planning to interview anywhere between 10 to 20 Latinos. This is just the starting point. And we are returning back to the Latinos who were our first pioneers. So we're looking for people possibly in their 90s, 80s, or 70s now, leaders, people that were leaders in the churches, social clubs.
We want you to be able to contribute into saying, oh, I know who that is. Or if you have your ancestor or someone that's still here and says, oh, they got a great story. There's a call to action for your participation in this project, not only to contribute to the rich storytelling, but also we need funding. So there's a crowdfunding, and you can see the QR code.
I've been serving the Latino community in everything that I do, all across the state of Ohio. And I want to impart that to our kids now because they're losing that connection. So hopefully we'll have a list of all of our leaders one day and all the work that they did so we never forget them.